Happy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Your Success DNA, Doing Necessary Actions. I'm your host, Tracy Brinkman, and I want to talk to you today about standing out from the crowd by just being a real you. This is rather unique. About 4 tips I want to share with you here. But before we go there, I want to chat with you and give you your daily question. And today's question is, for those of you who've been listening, right? How are you using your talents? These are questions, and I know I repeat them to you every week, and I repeat them to you for a reason. Your mind, as you've heard me tell you guys a number of times, is a fascinating tool, this biomechanical computer that has been given to us, unfortunately without a user's manual, but it's been given to us, and it responds to questions. And these questions get you thinking. And I'm going to tell you what, your mind is going to give you answers. So you want to ask the right questions. And I try to give you the right questions to help give you good answers. And you don't want to ask yourself things like, why can't I lose weight? Because your mind's probably going to tell you things like, well, because you're a pig. I'm sorry. That just rolled off my tongue. What can I say? But basically, that's how it works. So when I ask you some of these questions, really ponder them, would you? So today is, how are you using your talents? You have them. We all have talents. And here's the curious thing. Many of us don't know what our real talents are. Some of us think we know. Some of us do know. Some of you don't know. Ask. I've chatted about this with you before. Write down what you think your talents are. And then ask some of your close, trusted friends and ask some of your family. What are they coming to you for? And then sit back after you get those answers, compare them to your list first off, and see if there's any aha moments. And then really ask yourself or answer the question of, how are you using those talents to your benefit? And if you're using them to your benefit, sorry, I got the hiccups. Let me try and break that here. But am I not going to edit? Nope, I'm going to keep right on going. This is the real me. What can I say? But the question becomes, how are you using those talents? Are you using them to the betterment of your family? If so, rock on. Are you just kind of squandering them? I think one of the things that made me think about this is, as I was growing up, I have the ability to draw. I can draw fairly well with a pencil. I'm really great at shading. I started that because I was colorblind. Well, not was. I am red-green colorblind. So rather than tackle the challenge of colors and having a picture, and I've done it as I was growing up, painting a picture and drawing and coloring pictures and having the colors look great to me, and then someone going, why is your grass brown? Or why is this blue and not purple? And, different things like that. So I really honed my skills with a pencil. I draw really well with a pencil. And then people, I can remember as a teenager in early 20s, people saying, gosh, why don't you use that to make money? And I was like, well, I don't know. I do it for the fun of it. I do it I'll call it a hobby. And as I got older, there's a couple of, I've sold a couple of pictures. I've had people, I won't say commission me, but, ask me to draw on something, and I've drawn it for them. But I do it for the passion, because I love to draw, and I'll put down a pencil and not draw for months. A couple of times it's been years, and then something will inspire me, and I'll draw it, and I'll be happy with it, and I'll put it back down, and I'm happy with it again. So, how are you using your talents? Anyway, I got off on a little tangent there, sorry. So today, how you want to stand out from the crowd? Now, you want to stand out from the crowd. Here's the first thing. And as with many of the things I tell you, this isn't all about just one angle of your life. Standing out from the crowd could be relationship-based. It could be work-based. You're trying to get a new job. You're trying to get a promotion. You're just trying to shine in the job you have. It could be sales-based. You're trying to pitch your business. You're trying to pitch yourself. You're trying to pitch your company. Some of these things I tell you can be used in multiple different ways. So don't just look at it from one facet. Look at it from the first facet that hits you, because that's probably the facet you really need to pay attention to. And then think about it beyond that. That's one of the cool things I think about having these out here in podcasts, is because you can listen back to them a month, a week, a few days later, and it will hit you. Some new nugget will pop out at you. At least I hope so. And if it does, let me know. If it doesn't, hey, let me know that too. Anyway, so for today, standing on the crowd by being the real you. I mean, how can you make yourself, your product, your skill set, your body, yourself, your personality really shine? I mean, today, we're so jammed with busyness. I won't say we're overcrowded, because being a mad cheer dad, I've driven back and forth across this country a couple of times, and trust me, there are lots of places that we can grow. However, where we do live, we tend to be a little bit overcrowded. We're hyper competitive. Again, cheer dad. Maybe it's just my narrow focus of the world. But one of the things that you're going to have to do in today's world is stand out from the crowd. You're going to have to break through the melange and the noise of what everyone else is seeing, so they remember, oh, yeah, I remember so-and-so, as they're flipping through the resumes. Yeah, I remember this guy. And here's the reason why. You see, yesterday's formula of getting attention isn't going to work. If it's a business, just being the lowest price isn't going to work. It will work for some folks, but do you really just want the value customer? No. Just being cute doesn't always work. It probably work for a little while, but once they get past that cuteness, if you're shallow, or if your personalities don't match, then you've really kind of, I won't say wasted your time. Maybe you have a new friend, but certainly you're not heading on the path you want. So just being cute don't work. Right? How about that's good speaker in? Doesn't work. So I want to give you some tips here, and there's 4 of them. I'm going to give them to you first, and we'll chat a little bit about them. Number 1, do things differently. Pretty simple. Number 2, do different things. And we'll talk about that angle about that. Number 3, stir emotions. And the last one is be consistent. Oh, and they all fit together. I'll tell you a quick little story. Many of you have heard, if you've listened to probably more than 3 episodes of my podcast, is that I was fortunate enough to have a middle daughter, Krista, and unfortunate enough to have lost her at the ripe old age of like 16 months old. She needed a liver and small bowel transplant. Went through about, oh my gosh, I want to say 4 or 5 surgeries by the time she was 3 months old, and spent a lot of her time in the hospital out in Los Angeles, and then up in the Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh as she awaited her liver and small bowel transplant. And that got me started on my speaking career, going out and speaking to folks about, being an organ donor and preaching all the benefits of that. But after I lost her, and the end of the story when it comes to losing Krista is, we were faced with the tough choice of, she had waited months, like I said, she was 16 months old, for her small bowel and organ to become available. And we had a couple of close calls. We had one where we actually got the call to get ready to get on a plane, and then we got the call shortly thereafter saying that the potential donor had been beaten so severely by their parent that the organs were unusable. So obviously you can feel the emotions coming through here. But towards the end there, Krista had gotten so sick that I literally asked the doctor, and say my wife and I literally asked the doctor, if you had the organs right now, would she survive the surgery? And being a man, he was reluctant to answer. And I looked at him and said, just be honest with me. You got to be straight up. This is tough enough as it is without honesty. And he gave us the honest answer. He didn't think she would. He honestly felt that she would expire on the table. So that led to the next question of, do you see her getting any better from her current state right now to where she could survive the surgery? Now, I'm not asking for miracles, and I'm not asking you to judge me right now, but I'm prepping this to help you understand something. And his answer was no. So we had to make the tough decision of disconnecting the respirator. That at that point was the only thing keeping her alive. And I chose to sit in the emergency room in the rocking chair and hold her in my arms and say goodbye to her until she fell asleep for the last time. And that's what I did. I think that's one of the things that's really helped me get through this thing that I would never wish upon my worst enemy. And why am I telling you? I'm not trying to tell you this to say, oh, Tracy, I feel so sorry for you. Here, let me be your friend. I'm telling you this for a reason. Is that after I had gone over the emotional piece, sorry, I bumped into the microphone there. I continued my path of speaking, of course, in personal development, as you know now, but also in organ donations. And I gave this one speech to a group, and I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to do some different things. So what I did, it was a group of about, I want to say 250 people, and I had a stage, and there were some people, some doctors that were talking before me, and some nurses that were talking after me. And here's what I did: is I had them announce me, and then I had them wait for about 5 seconds. It seems like a long time. That was 5 seconds. Right? It seems like a long time. Imagine you're sitting there waiting for someone to come out and give you a speech. And on the stage was a lone chair. It was a rocking chair, of course. And then I walked out, and there was a single spotlight. The rest of the place was dark. There was a single spotlight on that chair. And I walked out holding one of my daughter's dolls, my arms wrapped up in what was Krista's favorite blanket. And I sat down, and I started rocking. And I literally started saying all the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for all the things that she taught me, and she taught me a lot of things by how she looked at life, and learning my personal development path, and showing me how much I like to be in front of an audience, and how I like to share learnings with people like yourself that are listening to right now. And I'm rocking back and forth. And in the background, the house speakers were playing something like this as I'm talking. Right, the little heart monitor is going, and you're listening. Now, mind you, some of the people in the audience knew me and knew what was coming. But I continued talking and saying thank you, and then talking about organ donation and how people should do it. And I'm not going to give the speech here, but you get the point. And so I was doing something different, and I had them hooked. And I was stirring their emotions because, of course, I'm a father talking to a child. And everyone can relate to that. Even if you don't have a child, you probably know someone who does have a child. Or you know a child. Or you have a niece. Or you have a nephew. Or you were a child. Okay? So somewhere inside you, unless you're just dead, and the type of people that are listening to this right now are not dead. You're wanting to live. So these are the things I mixed into this speech until we got to the very end. And this starts happening. Right? And of course, I set her down on the chair, and I walk off stage. So, now that I've got you all wrapped up in that, oh God, what does all I have to do with the rest of this? So as you can tell, I really was trying to pitch a message in this particular point, in that particular speech. And to do that, I did some different things. They were ready for someone to come out in a business suit and tout all the benefits of organ donations. I let the doctor before me and the nurse after me do that. I came at them from an entirely different angle. I did some different things. And I did some things that they were used to, giving speeches and looking at a child and talking to them. I did it differently, and I stirred their emotions. Now, normally I would say stir emotions and spread happiness. However, that's not the emotion I was going for this time. Whatever solid emotion you can grab, whatever benefit from that, inside of that, I was giving them happiness by being grateful. So there was a hint of, not a hint, but there was definitely a message of happiness inside there. And it was consistent. I was consistent with the message throughout, as I try to be consistent with you as I'm talking to you here, by always trying to give you something that you can use in any angle of your life, whether it be relationships, or whether it be your business, whether it be just helping you raise better kids. You can take some of these lessons and share with them, because I find if you're teaching someone else, you're learning yourself. I know it works for me. So do different things. Whatever it is you're trying to do. If you're trying to sell the next widget, don't try and be every other widget salesman out there. If you're trying to do a business online, try something a little different. What makes you unique? What's your unique selling proposition? And do some of the same things that everyone else is doing differently. If everyone else is using autoresponders, if I stick with the online business analogy, try to do something a little different. I know some of the messages I get that I know are autoresponder loaded are buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this every time. So if you sign up for any of my stuff, you won't get that because I hate that. Now, you're going to get buy this stuff, but you're going to get tidbit, tidbit, tidbit. Oh, by the way, thought you might be interested in this. Nugget, nugget, tidbit. Oh, by the way, thought you might be interested in that. Right? It's the same thing. It's just differently. I'd rather build up a relationship with you and some trust to do that. So do things differently with your kids, raising kids. Don't try things that if they're not working, guess what? They're going to keep not working. Try different things. Stir emotions. Spread happiness, right? And sometimes the emotion that you need to stir isn't happiness, but spread happiness anyway and be consistent. Don't be wishy-washy, right? Be consistent in who you are. Be the real you, which is how I started to let this off, was stand out in the crowd by being the real you. If you're an honest person, be honest. If you're a person that, I don't know, likes to go out and party, don't try and hide that from the girl you're trying to impress. If you like to go out and party, guess what? You're going to woo her and wine her and dine her. You're going to start dating her. And then you're going to start slipping back into who you really are. Because unless you really change the core of who you are, it's going to come out. And then if she doesn't like that, well, then where are you? Right? So always be consistent. Be who you are at the core. If you can develop these 4 pieces of a part of anything you're trying to stand out from the crowd, then trust me, it's going to work every time I do it. And that could be with a resume. Doing something as simple as whipping up a resume and putting it on different colored paper. Heck, create a social media version of a resume. I saw this one time where someone created almost a Facebook page looking resume. Tell you what, they weren't qualified for the role that they're applying for, that I was hiring for, but it definitely got my attention, and I passed it on to a person who they could get a role for. And I'm not sure if they ever got that position, but you get the idea. And I have gone so far over time, but I wanted to get this across to you. So, again, do things differently. Do some different things. Stir those emotions. And I hope I didn't depress you today by stirring some of those emotions. Tried to break it up a little bit in the middle of things, but I know the stories really help. And then be consistent, right? Always share what you want to share and share it the way you want to share it. Okay, so tomorrow, performers versus pretenders, and then we're going to go into Thursday on the best way to give others what they need is the best way to get what you need. And then on Friday, we're going to talk about turning you around, getting you back on track. And remember, keep an eye on the website. Got something really cool coming out. I believe it's going to be out tomorrow. That would be Wednesday. I was editing it today, so I think tomorrow is going to be the big day. All right? Until then, talk to you later. Think successfully. Take action. Bye.